Is your telescope suffering from chronic vignetting? Dark corners usually mean your light path is being restricted. Today, I'll show you how I diagnosed and fixed the problem on my RASA 11.
Fast telescopes are great, but they suffer from vignetting. Because the light reaches the sensor in a steep cone, the center gets more light than the edges, especially at fast focal ratios like f2. This causes bright centers and dark corners, which is normal and corrected with flat frames.
So this vignetting problem is something that happens with other telescopes. Now that I am thinking about this, I was having similar problems with the Skywatcher 410. And I always thought that, I need to do more flat frames and maybe it's the light pollution or whatever. And now I realize that sometimes we have to take a look at the spacers and be sure that information, that data that it's coming in, that light is not clipped somehow, and it can be the spacers. And every telescope has their own specifications and back focus and everything with the camera. So you will have to look, and I can tell you that ChatGTP, the aliens that are in ChatGTP, they're pretty accurate. It's the one that helped me a lot.
To calculate the spacers you need, you only need 3 specs: the telescope's required back focus distance, the camera's sensor back focus, and the optical length of any accessories like filter drawers or tilt plates. Add the camera and accessory distances together, then subtract that total from the telescope's required back focus. The result is the spacer length you need. The standard back focus for the RASA 11 is 55 millimeters. This measurement is taken from the front surface of the included camera adapter to the camera sensor. Most setups should use this 55 millimeter distance. There is another way to measure back focus. If you remove the adapter and measure directly from the telescope's threaded collar, the required distance to the sensor is 72.8 millimeters.
I want to take a look at all of the Baader or Baader adapters. These adapters are not necessarily cheap. Well, and of course, like everything in astrophotography, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, when you're ready, I was ready last week to do this, and well, I was missing 2 parts, and one of them was the M48 filter slider. So I can use my Optolong 2-inch parafilter, which thank you so much to Optolong for sending me this amazing filter. And also I was missing a different plate, so I'm not going to use the one that came with the RASA 11. And this one is a telescope adapter height of 3 millimeters. So I am going, this is the one that is going to go directly into the telescope. Then we have a Baader extension 15 millimeter. Second, it's the extension to 5 millimeter. Third comes the Vari-Lock 15 to 20 millimeter. And then I have a base filter chamber. And this is if I want to have, I believe, just like the filter installed all the time. That's why I got the slider, which I believe I can also change. And also if I use a clear filter, clear glass, I believe it goes here. And then last but not least, it's the adapter T2 adapter that connects to the camera. It's a T-ring, okay? And the camera that I am using, it's a ZWO color camera, and I'll get all the details as it is already in the Sky Dome because I tested it, and that's when I found out about the vignetting. Step number 2 is the first extension, the 50 millimeter. And thing here is that they come with all these little screws that I have to tighten them up, and that's going to be interesting. I can see the tiny little holes there for the screws, so I need to keep track of these ones. Next step, it's going to be the extension tube, the 5 millimeter. And they all come with the exact same tiny little screws. And I need to get, let me see, yeah, oh, it's a little special wrench. Next step, it's the Verilog. Same thing, I have to secure all of them. And this Verilog, it adjusts, as you can see, and from what I understand that he's explaining, it's going to help on the depth. And then we're going to have the filter body, and this one finally came with a little Allen wrench, so I don't have to look for one, as I was already thinking that I have to look for one. Next step, it's going to be the camera adapter T-ring, and from what I understand, this will go like something like this here. This one comes with two different types of screws, so I'm going to keep these ones in the box so I know where they belong. And then the last piece, which I need to see where that filter slider goes. It didn't click immediately to me, but of course the filter slider goes here into the filter chamber. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So I can put the filter on, filter off, wax on, wax off. Oh, okay. So let's just go ahead and start with the fun part, which is to screw all of this. Okay, so this is pretty much the way it's going to go onto the telescope. And then at the end, it's the camera. So now it's time to do the difficult part for me, which is all the tiny screws and little parts. Okay. I'm not going to super tight everything because it's always possible that I have to get things loose and reposition. Okay, so the first one, it's attached. Probably right now the safest thing to do is just to kind of like align them with each other. And that takes that part right there. Okay, so the next step, it's the 15 to 20 minute, the Verilog. Verilog also has screws, so I'm going to align them the same way. The next step, it's the filter base, the filter chamber, and this one also has the little tiny screws. I have a problem with screws. I end up always having spare screws. I don't know why. So let's just go and get this little guy here with the same. I just got a little bit confused with some other screws here. It just seems that they go really deep inside, so I'm not sure. Okay, ta-da! So here it is. And then last but not least comes the camera adapter. And this one is the ones that use the bigger screws, and oh, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that I don't have spare screws this time, as I normally do somehow. And this one, it's an easy one, as I know exactly where they go. And all I need now is clear skies. This has been terrible. Terrible! And then last but not least, it's going to be the filter slider. And I believe it goes, which way it goes? Let's see. Seems tight. Oh my God. It almost, I was already suffering, but I had it backwards. Okay. Good. So finally, the filter slider goes this way, and I have to look at this part here, this edge. I got it right. This is one of the things that I am a little bit worried about the RASA, is that everything is so exposed here. But it seems like the next step here is to get the whole thing and just mount it directly here. Okay, so now that all of this is done, finally, I can just go ahead and mount the camera so I don't have all of this dust and stuff coming. This is one of the things that I am a little bit worried about the RASA, is that everything is so exposed here. But it seems like the next step here is to get the whole thing and just mount it directly here. Okay, so now that all of this is done, finally, I can just go ahead and mount the camera so I don't have all of this dust and stuff coming.
I finally got a clear night to test it. First, I start without the filter just to find the target and do my alignments. It's very hard to see with these filters the stars, and I put the Optolong filter in the chamber, and look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I need to center the Cocoon Nebula, but there's no vignetting, so this solved the problem once for all. And this is the first integrated image, and you can see it's absolutely great. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next few days.